Envision a large table built of strong, thick wood, people of every color, every race, sitting around it, waiting and smiling. They're all connecting and acting and bringing more people to the table. They reach across that table and shake hands with other trusted community builders. And they know that something is amazing. And their smile is reciprocated because they know the goal, the reason for the table has been achieved. But what is it, you ask? It's getting to even. My table is the venture table, and getting to even for me is equal representation for people around one central theme, and that is to get to even for the venture table. And that means that we have 50% of angel investors who are women, who are activating their capital to invest. And 50% of startup founders being women who receive capital to make their dreams a reality. Now, based on so many people working tirelessly building community, we now have 24% of angel investors being women who are activating their capital, hence 22% of founders receiving capital who are women. But this is only in the angel investment world. In the VC or venture capital world, it's so much more dismal than that. We are looking at only 5% of VC funding goes to women, and less than 1% is going to people of color. This is a cavernous discrepancy, and we must do something about it. But there are patterns that hinder this actually being done. Investors use pattern recognition to actually pick the winners. If they see their younger version of themselves across the venture table, or an example of a successful startup founder like Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, what do you think they do? Invest. They see the successful example of a startup founder. But if they see a woman or a person of color, they don't see that pattern of success, and they're less likely to invest. Pattern recognition hinders access, crushes opportunity, and decreases diversity of thought and ideas, and we must break this cycle. But what's also interesting in this discussion is how people are asked questions during due diligence. Male founders are typically asked more promotion-focused questions like, how fast is your business growing, or how large your market is. However, female founders are asked more prevention-oriented questions like, how are you protecting your downside, or what is the risk of your business? And how does a female founder get an investor excited about her business if she's constantly playing defense? And what is more distressing about this is that female founders outperform their male counterparts by 63%. And when you know about this inequality, this discrepancy, you want to shout it from the mountaintops, and you assume someone or anyone has tried to solve the problem. But that is not so. And you ask yourself, well, why? It seems so easy. Invest in what makes you more money. Women and diverse founders. But this is why. Humans are complex and hardwired a certain way, and habits are hard to break. But it takes a village to change behavior. It takes community, genuine connections, genuine conversations, and genuine collaborations, big and small, to make change a true reality. In our goal of getting to even, it takes every race, every human, every age to rise up and build community and tackle problems. But how is this actually done? It is through a currency of trust. Now, trust is a little bit daunting and hard to actually define, and it's not a tangible asset, and it's not something that you can touch, but it has extreme value. So through many, many years of building community, I have learned that trust is something that you need to respect. And trust is tremendous reciprocity for you and for us with sincerity and transparency. So it takes a tremendous amount of connections and a tremendous amount of currency to actually exchange this currency and this trust. After interviewing over 30 female angel investors and interacting with hundreds more, there's one thing that actually connects us. That's actually having an abundance mindset of tackling tremendous problems with every connection that we make and the capital we so mindfully activate. Reciprocity. Authentic reciprocity of resources, human capital and financial capital, grows community. So one of my portfolio founders, one of my portfolio startups, Tagit, founded by Ana Bermudez, is a quintessential community builder. We first met at our annual Women's Venture Summit, and we had great discussions, but the one thing that came up was that she needed mentoring as a Latina founder in San Diego to actually make and grow connections. So after a couple of conversations, and about 6 or 9 months later, we reciprocated connections and we grew community together between that investor-investee relationship. Sincerity. Sincerity of authentically becoming yourself and connecting with those people that really mean so much to you. So one of my portfolio founders, Debbie Chen, she is founder of Hydrostasis. She is a Muay Thai fighter, scientist, mompreneur, and a daughter of Asian immigrants. And through her sincerity of sharing about her milestones and challenges, she has built a strong support system around her startup. And lastly, transparency. Transparency of whatever you feel, you say, what you promise actually gets done. Pretty amazing. Those are the people that are building community with me. But my story is far deeper than this. My story starts through my roots and the empathy that I have harnessed from a lifetime of fighting for the unheard and the unseen. It is the right thing to do to invest in women-led and minority-led businesses. It is the right thing to do, and it is the right thing to do for so many people. But I'm the melting pot and the definition of a melting pot of American greatness. I'm originally from Venezuela. Yes, it doesn't look like it, but I am Latina at heart. But I am also a daughter of the American Revolution. And by marrying a Chinexican, my family is the United Nations. I hope you followed that. But my immigrant roots taught me something very important. Work hard. Don't be afraid of getting your hands dirty. And above all else, advocate for the underserved. But the other message I got from my family, especially around the dinner table, was children are to be seen but not heard. Who grew up in a family like this? Yeah, I thought so. Conversations not had around that dinner table and emotions bottled up inside of me created me. What was your dinner table like? Was it warm and comforting? Well, I was coined the silent rebel, a rebel with a voice, wanting to get out, wanting to be free. And as Eleanor Roosevelt so eloquently said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And I never, ever gave my consent. And through this empathy, I have created a sense of being, a sense of belonging, a sense of connection with others through strong bonds of trust. Now, fast forward, immigrating from Venezuela to the United States, getting an education, a Ph.D., an MBA, a family, a job, the American dream. But bang, something happened that changed my direction. My father passed away. And I was left with an inheritance, enough capital to be an accredited angel investor overnight. But some would say I won the lottery. But I always had the mindset since I was a little girl that in fighting for my chance to be heard and others to be recognized, that if I ever won the lottery, I would want to help others. So I found my joy in activating my capital for the greater good, to invest in women-led and minority-led startups to get to even. Now, my first investment was in a transformative technology that decreases the direction of HPV so that less women would get invasive cervical surgeries, especially right after I had a scare of cervical cancer myself. And 30 companies later, I've invested in a UTI prevention drink mix company that decreases the number of urinary tract infections for women worldwide, and a medical device that decreases the chances of somebody losing their hair doing chemo and cancer so that they keep their integrity. These are the new patterns of successful startup stories, female founders solving global problems. And there is where hope lies. And what lies within us can never be taken away, colonized by oppression, contorted to someone else's truth, not held by you, because it is yours to hold on to, yours to turn towards, and yours to create massive impact. But I'm a visionary, not proclaimed by far, but a person with a dream of a world where equity is fought for, peace perpetuated, and love above all else is held at the highest regard. I am the rebel, unmasked, unearthed, a rebel for others. So through this empathy, I have built community one step at a time, one handshake at a time, always having an open door policy, always saying yes way too many times, with my trust as my currency, community as my bond, with my heart on my sleeve and my arms outstretched to all. This world needs to be better, needs to be more equitous for people of color and women. And we will, if we sit together, hand in hand, raising community, we will get to even. But my question to you is, what is your table and what is your get to even? Thank you.